Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. I'm so glad to be here with all of you. Just take a moment and really settle in to where you are. Take some good, deep, fulfilling breaths. Whatever it means for you to come to presence. Some stretching, counting your breath, focusing on the exhale, feeling your feet on the ground. Just be here. Be here now. We have been on this adventure together through the last 15 weeks. And I'm going to open today with a question for all of you to jump into, um, to contemplate. I'd like you to think about what has this journey been for you? So I'm going to give you some time. I'm going to give you 5 minutes in your lab group. And I know for some of you that's not enough. And I'm sorry to say, but it doesn't have to be the end of the conversation at the end of those 5 minutes. Keep talking. Keep talking about it in lab. Keep talking about it as you meet up after the semester. What has this journey been for you? So I'd like to acknowledge all that has gone on this semester. Um, there's there have been challenges for sure. People who have I am getting notes about folks who have been challenged, um, folks who have felt growth, and and then folks who have found things too. So the challenges have led to efforts that have led to a place of celebration. There have been disappointments and there have been enlightenments over the course of this semester that all lead to learning in some way or another. This meeting marks the end of a journey in some ways, um, and it's called forth considerable exertion on on all of us, on all of you as students, and on the TAs, on all of you as students who have been teaching us so much as well. Um, so being able to open to possibilities and new concepts takes takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. And that's why I teach BiSci, is because there's such power and there's such possibility in this space. I am grateful that you took this course. So with knowledge comes responsibility. It's the hero's journey. Every choice matters. And so a quick rundown of the fact that we are each part of the universe. We are each part of Earth. Earth has birthed us into being from the stuff of the universe. For some of you, this was a really big space to learn and to grow. Earth feeds us and waters us and shelters us. And we have this in common with all the other living beings on this planet, both animals and plants. We challenged ourselves to see the world with new eyes, the eyes of wonder and of humility and gratitude and connection. This was all in part 1 of the course. And from there, then we went to the hard part, the part 2 of the course, with the emphasis on the abuse of Earth and feeling the pain of these times. And by allowing ourselves to feel these pains, the anguish, and being able to not, to look at these images takes a lot of courage. Our feelings are part of what makes us, it's what makes us humans. It connects to our intelligence. By allowing ourselves to feel, we are fully human. So by facing this world of wounds where we are at this point, it gave us this idea that even though there's tragedy and chaos, we have power. We have power to make choices. And that's where we went in part 3, the idea, the attention on sustainability and how our choices matter, our daily choices about food and shelter and transportation, how we use energy, how we get and make energy. We focused on creativity and possibility, the opportunities that we have in front of us. And so I have been trying to endeavor all of you, as well as myself, the idea that there's hope and freedom in the power of choice. So I've mentioned it a couple times. There's a page in Canvas in our BiSci class page. It's under pages, where it says that there are choices. There are ways that we can act on this. There are things that we can explore. And that document is an ever evolving document. So it gets rejuvenated every time somebody gives me new ideas of things to put there, places to listen to like-minded people on podcasts or on websites, Instagram accounts. There are places that if you need to consume things, there are places there that have more mindful consumer options. There are websites to follow. And so if you have suggestions of things that I could add to make that more complete, please message me about that. I am always looking forward to learning as well as sharing with other people. So please check out that document if you're curious about what possibilities can come now. So as we've gone through the course, we've talked about the only thing we have to do to be sure we will leave a ruined world for our children and grandchildren is exactly what we're doing now. Um, so what will happen for you, for us, for us as humanity after you leave this class? Will you go back to the way that you lived before? Or maybe you'll commit to recycling and console yourself that that's enough. It's trivial, but it is something. Um, it's good, but it might not be quite enough. So, what is it that you will choose after you leave here today? Here we are. We live in historically the greatest, some say, most powerful country the world has ever known, with more wealth, more technology, more science, more weapons, more knowledge, more privilege than any other country. And yet, rather than leading the world toward a sustainable future, we've been headed in actually the complete opposite direction from that, as we fail to stop and act on climate change. We have a government now that is working toward making efforts this way, but it's going to take a lot of strides and it's going to take a lot of support to put that into action. We use more petroleum, we create more greenhouse gases, we consume more goods. So, what's going to make the change? What's going to make the change? Really, it says this in our Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, we will establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. So we have this capacity in our country to do this. It's written in how we started as a country. So how is this change going to happen? It's us. It's encoded in the name of our country. We are the ones that can make this change. So if we, the people, who are you as we, the people? Think back to that first class of us versus them. So, how can we make change? What are you sensing that you will do? What is rising in you? Take some time and talk about this in your groups. So some of you are talking about changes in the way that you use plastic, and some of you are talking about how it's going to be awesome to start a chain reaction and connect with your peers and make those changes. Get the message out, make a difference with other people. And those are beautiful ways of moving things forward. Um, so to continue to think about that, what's rising in you? It often comes as a feeling from someplace in my gut of like, ooh, I should probably do that. No, I don't want to. Oh, I should probably. Oh, gosh, that's hard. And so it's something that often like kind of nags at me from the inside when I find that there's something like this that I'm feeling empowered to make change about. I just added a really beautiful article in the week 15 under Opportunity is Now Here. It's an article about people who are weaving our social fabric, that we're living with the excesses of over 60 years of hyper individualism, where people feel as though they have to do things, they have to prove their worth by doing things on their own. And there's a lot of emphasis in our culture because of that on personal freedom and self interest and self expression. The idea that life as an individual journey is personal fulfillment. You do you. Except that weavers, people that are weaving our social culture, share the idea that puts relationship over self. We are born into relationships. If we think back of what brings us true happiness, almost everything that you mentioned was about relationship. It's about those people and those animals and those places that you love that bring you true happiness. So, what happens if we measure our life in the quality of our relationships, where we precedes me? I believe that the best way to be a weaver is to inspire others, just like some of you are saying, starting a chain reaction, inspiring others. So, a dear friend and a past BiSci student wrote this. She says, while I was in the shower, a place I do a lot of my thinking, I was contemplating every problem in the world that I could think of. Everything I just want to fix instantly to make the world a better place. It's a long list, and I'm prone to worrying. It adds up, and the feeling of helplessness often overwhelms me. And I know that a lot of you have felt that at some point, maybe are still feeling that through this class. So BiSci opens our minds, me included, to think about the bigger picture in sometimes challenging and uncomfortable ways. It can be debilitating to want to help so much and make huge changes when we feel so little. I, for one, think we are all very little, except that that's all of us. We are together. We are a blip on the timeline of the universe, and yet we're here at a very, very important time. And we have power. I believe that there's beauty in making small impacts in the lives of others. I know that's been said before, but I think that there's something really beautiful about that. If we all make a small impact, perhaps we will begin to make a bigger one together. But to do so, we must turn toward all the beings on Earth, all the beings and Earth as our home. We must turn toward them with love and openness and empathy. If you're skeptical about this, consider these words from Unitarian minister Christine Fry. She said, "You've asked me to tell you of the great turning, of how we saved the world from disaster. The answer is both simple and complex. We turned. For hundreds of years, we had turned away as life on Earth grew more precarious. We turned away from the homeless people on the streets, the stench from the river, the children orphaned in Iraq, the mothers dying of AIDS in Africa. We turned away because that's what we had been taught. To turn away from our pain, from the hurt in another's eyes, from the drunken father and the friend betrayed. We were always told in actions louder than words to turn away, turn away. And so we became a lonely people, caught up in a world moving too quickly, too mindlessly toward its own demise, until it seemed as if there was no safe space to turn. No place, inside or out, that did not remind us of fear or terror, despair and loss, anger and grief. And yet, on one of those days, someone did turn. Turned to face the pain, turned to face the stranger, turned to look at the smoldering world and the hatred seething in too many eyes, turned to face himself, herself, and then another turned, and another, and another, and as they wept, they took each other's hands, until whole groups of people were turning, young and old, gay and straight, people of all colors, all nations, all religions, turning not only to the pain and hurt, but to the beauty and the gratitude and the love, turning to one another with forgiveness and a longing for peace in their hearts. At first, the turning made people dizzy, even silly. There were people standing to the side, gawking and criticizing, and trying to knock the turners down. But the people kept getting up, kept helping each other to their feet. Their laughter and kindness brought others into the turning circle, until even the naysayers began to smile and sway. And as the people turned, they began to spin, reweaving the web of life, mending the shocking tears, knitting it back together with colors of the earth, sewing on tiny mirrors so that the beauty of each person, each creature, each plant, each life might be seen and respected. And as the people turned, they spun like the earth through the universe, and the web wrapped around them like a soft baby blanket, making it clear that all are loved and none are separate. As this love reached into the crack and every crevice, people began to wake and wonder, to breathe and to give thanks, to celebrate together. And so the world will be saved, but only as long as you too, sweet one, remember to turn. So how are we going to do that? With knowledge comes power and responsibility. How are we going to turn? Denying our feelings and going numb is life denying. We humans have emotions for a reason. It has been critical to our adaptation and survival as a species. As we gain the capacity to become aware of our feelings, even the painful ones, we become more alive, more conscious. And with that awareness comes the possibility of exercising control over how we respond to our feelings. With knowledge comes power and responsibility. The world is affected by your yeses and your nos. And for some of you who are asking what to do, here's what I've got. Here are some answers. For the state of the environment and climate change, face your grief, but have a vision of the future. This applies to where we are in the state of the coronavirus, and yet it also applies to national and international politics, or maybe in your household, maybe with your roommate. Have a vision of the future, of what you see, that story that you wrote of what's possible. It's there. Have that vision. Specifically, environmentally related, as we are seeing with the underlying cause of this pandemic, the changes to come are going to be more disorienting than the ones that we've seen before. And it's going to be easy to lose focus unless we clearly see where we want to go. Keep asking questions. Defend the truth. Learn to find the truth. Learn to distinguish between real science and pseudoscience. Don't give up on people who have views that are different than yours. Defend the truth. Ask questions. See yourself as a citizen, not as a consumer. Reflect on your relationship with stuff on a daily basis. What are you purchasing and using, and what are you throwing away? I put up another article in the week 15 link that relates to this. Reclaim your idea of what a good life is. Does it relate to what you purchase? Dematerialize. Practice responsible consumerism when you have to. Put your money where it matters, both in what you buy and how you invest. And engage in politics. Democracies are threatened by climate crisis and a lack of understanding around diversity, and democracy must evolve to meet this challenge. If we're going to search for a new system of politics, it's going to take too long. We have to work with what we have right now. If the first duty of government is to protect its people, then across much of the world, the form of democracy that we know now is failing. It's not protecting people. It's not protecting the planet. Climate change is an existential threat, and it's likely to intensify faster than most people realize today. If our systems of government can't protect us from this, they might be replaced, but that, as I say, that replacement is going to take too long. So engage in politics in what we have now. So those are things to do now, every day, in the moment, things. Even at this late hour, we still have a choice about our future, and every action we take from this moment forward counts. And please know that we are capable of making the right choices about our own destiny. We are not doomed to a devastating future, and humanity is not flawed and incapable of responding. If we act, we are capable of doing this. When our children and their children look straight into our eyes and they ask us, "What did you do?" our answer cannot just be, "Well, we did everything that we could." No, it has to be more than that. There's really only one answer, that we did everything necessary. It will be a story of great adventure against overwhelming odds, a magnificent story of weaving and turning. It's the hero's journey. I need to express my gratitude to all of you, to the TAs, to the learning coordinators, to our guest speakers, and to Chris Yule, the author of your book, who created this class in this way. And if you feel so inclined, I encourage you to reach out and express your gratitude to your TAs, to your lab mates, to anyone who has made a difference for you this semester in other classes, maybe your advisor, who knows, but being grateful is a way of weaving and turning and making connections, expressing your gratitude. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to play a song for you. And I'd like you just to close your eyes and to take it in, and to be with it, to breathe.
May I suggest to you, may I suggest this is the best part of your life. May I suggest this time is blessed for you. This time is blessed and shining almost blinding bright. Just turn your head and you'll begin to see the thousand reasons that were just beyond your sight. The reasons why I suggest to you, why I suggest this is the best part of your life. There is a world that's been addressed to you, intended only for your eyes. A secret world, a treasure chest to you, of private scenes and brilliant dreams that mesmerize. A tender lover's smile, a tiny baby's hands, the million stars that fill the turning sky at night. Oh, I suggest, yes, I suggest to you, yes, I suggest this is the best part of your life. There is a hope that's been expressed in you, the hope of 7 generations, maybe more. This is the faith that they invest in you. It's that you'll do one better than was done before. Inside you know, inside you understand, inside you know what's yours to finally set right. And I suggest to you, and I suggest this is the best part of your life. This is a song, comes from the west to you, comes from the west, comes from the slowly setting sun. This is a song with a request of you, to see how very short the endless days will run. And when they're gone, and when the dark descends, we'd give anything for one more hour of light. May I suggest, this is the best part of your life.
So take a deep breath. Close your eyes. You are good. And you are enough. We are each needed in this time. We are each in the right place. We are each beautiful souls that the world needs right now. We are here at the right time, as hard as that might be. We are here. We are here just as you are. The people around you need you as a weaver and a turner to create culture. And you need to be you for you. If you have made some sort of change over the course of this semester, that's because you have chosen to. You have taken the opportunity. You have made the choice to grow and learn. This is the hero's journey. Joseph Campbell, you might want to write these 2 quotes down. Joseph Campbell.
May I suggest?
Joseph Campbell is the father of the hero's journey. He says we must let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. And I believe that that's true because we are the ones that we've been waiting for. It's all right here. We've got it. You've got it. You are exactly where you are meant to be. You are exactly the person you are meant to be. And you are enough in this time. Thank you. I encourage you to spend the last 4 minutes hanging out with your lab. And I am so grateful. I hope that you have a beautiful day.